Kerstin, I'm going to give it to you, and please also introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are, and yeah, it's all yours. Oh, you are muted, Kerstin. We've all managed to do this once already.
I'll do that.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Nick. That's most probably one of the nicest introductions I've ever gotten. So thank you very much. I share my screen with you and hope that, do you see it? Yeah, right?
Yep.
Yeah, super. You asked me to speak about the OECD Learning Compass 2030 and actually and to see how it applies to global citizens, right? And we are talking today to you. Very warm welcome from Berlin. I'm Kerstin Wilmans. I am here a teacher at Evangelische Schule Berlin Zentrum, which is one of the Protestant schools here in Berlin. I'm also founder and a board member of the Global Goals Curriculum, which is an initiative which innovatively implements education for sustainability and global citizenship education within schools. And I'm also a leader of the engagement and implementation of the working group carrying on the OECD Learning Compass 2030. So I have 3 roles, and these 3 roles I'm here today. And let's start. This is our school. Actually, the trees have a little bit more leaves on them already, but the sun wasn't shining today, so I used that photograph. And you see here the General Assembly Hall. And as a teacher here at the school, in my role, I am coordinating the Life and Work Skills program. So this is all about creativity, project management skills, communication skills, empathy, self-organization, all that what many people refer to as 21st century skills. So the not disciplinary, but the over-disciplinary, the interdisciplinary, and wider competences you need. And I develop together with Nick, as you can see him here, sitting together with other teachers and students from a school here in Freiburg in southern Germany, where we work together at this innovation lab, Global Citizenship Education. And that's something I do in several projects together with teachers and students and other people, where we develop new learning formats and new approaches towards education. And in my 3rd role, I develop together with many other people, with students, with teachers, with researchers, with policymakers, and with NGOs and teacher trainers and so forth in the OECD project Education 2030. The OECD is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, which was founded 60 years ago. And it's 37 member countries, and it started off with working together to economically grow and be sound and develop well. But they are now also focusing on well-being issues and specifically education. And that's why this project started. And here you can see me. I'm up there here on the here, and there are students from Japan, because this conference was led and initiated by students in Japan just this March. And it was all around the Learning Compass and also the well-being of people, individual well-being and societal well-being, because it was the Fukushima incident was 10 years ago, and they had this conference, which was wonderful. It was over the weekend, so that was some effort to participate there on Saturday and Sunday, but it was wonderful. And this session, Mahiro, she's a student here. I think she's 18 years old. She facilitated the session on well-being. And at this point, I would like to ask you, Nick, to put this question on Slido, because I would like to ask you, what do you need to be well in the current situation. So when we're talking about well-being and you have 1 year of COVID, of extreme conditions you are learning, as a teacher, you have extreme conditions for your teaching and providing learning settings for your students. And as students, you have to work at home or under very specific conditions. So if you think about what you've experienced the last year, what do you need to be well in the current situation? Is it running, Nick?
Yeah, so I just started it about 7 or 8 seconds ago. It always takes some time, though. We have about 7 to 10 seconds lag time. So, but the first answers are coming in right now. So I will actually start to share my screen in just a second. One moment. Need to get there first.
This fantastic thing is that with the Learning Compass, we look at the overall goal is well-being. And well-being is on an individual level, so my personal well-being, but it's also about collective well-being. So feeling good and feeling safe and having a good working environment as a grown-up, a good job, or as a student, having a nice school and having the opportunity to learn well. And these well-being parameters, they influence each other, and that is why well-being as an overall goal is so important, and to have a clear view on what you want to achieve for you personally, what you need, and the communities you live in, what do you expect from them, but also what are they providing for you to feel good, to develop well, and have a safe environment, sustainable. I mean, Martin and Geddy just talked about so many issues, so biodiversity and all these other issues, and that is what we are aiming for. Any results? Nick?
Yes, so we should have the results now. Do you also see them, Kerstin, on your screen?
I don't see them, but...
One second.
What you can also do is to just read out the most important ones.
But I should have... So I should be able to...
Okay. What do we see here? The emotional support of loved ones, and that is very big, right? Socializing, support from friends and family, my friends and family around me, supportive social network, quietness. This is not so easy to get, right, these days, especially when you live in a bigger city or with many people in a house. To listen to music, physical touch, supportive social network. The access to vaccines is here, my cat, socializing, going outside. And so this is very much about being close to other people, to be part of a community. And you see how important it is to be part of a community. And in your family, but also in your school or in the organization you work. And in these days, we realized how we lacked it, and how we were separated from each other. Thank you very much, Nick. I go back to my presentation. You have to...
Yeah, I think it should work now.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Thank you so much for taking part in this. And this is where it all started in 2015. The OECD set out in 2015 with a project and with the question, what knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values need today's students to thrive and shape their world? So the individual life and also the overall society. And this is individual. In Germany, we would say Wohlbefinden, persönlich, and Wohlergehen when it comes to society. We use different words for it, but it applies to persons and also to communities and societies. So this is the vision. This is what we want to achieve by the Learning Compass, and with the Sustainable Development Goals. And I guess all of you have seen them already. That's a vision for such a well-being on an individual level, to have access to good education, to don't be hungry, to have access to good water, but also on societal level. And in answer to this, the OECD team, us, I mean the students and the teachers and the policymakers and so on, developed the Learning Compass. The goal is individual and collective well-being. It starts with every one of us, with me. When I am well, if I feel good and I have a good surrounding, I have an influence also on my family, and my family provides well-being for me. So this is interconnected. Not just the family, but also my close friends. They're very important. So this is me and my closer community. And that's what you just answered in this Slido poll, is very, very important. And we missed that a lot last year, because we as human beings, we need that. The well-being of us and our closer circle also has influence and enhances the quality of well-being in the organizations we work in or we live in the communities. And for us as teachers and as students, it's the school. For other people, it's the companies they work in, or it's the football club or so, and they're very active in. So that is the closer community. When it comes from the school perspective, we are very close to our teachers as students, or as a teacher. It's very our fellow teachers and our students, and for students, also the relationship to our friends. Some of them are also our peers in school, but there are many more students. And so the well-being of me influences the well-being of my community, and the community, how the school is run, how the school culture is influencing my personal well-being. And this goes so far. So the wider community, to live in a city here in Berlin or in the countryside, smaller or larger communities, we are all part of a system, and this is also interlinked. So the school, you here in the Baltic Sea Project, you are working transnationally, and it's a regional approach. So there's also the well-being of the Baltic Sea area is one goal of the Baltic Sea Project. And it has a country and a regional perspective, and then comes the global perspective. So the better the well-being of me as individuals, summing up to communities, is influencing the well-being of the planet. And in return, the planet, I mean, right now with climate change, that has influence on the well-being of countries and communities which are affected by climate change, and that has also an influence on my personal well-being. So this is very important to know, that well-being has different levels, and they are all interconnected. The OECD Learning Compass wants to enable the development of students to develop the capacity, the knowledge, the skills and the attitudes of and values to reach this well-being, to take care of their own individual well-being and also of the well-being of the societies they live in. We look at core foundations. Here's the literacy and numeracy, also digital and data literacy. This is very important because in some countries it's not, digital and data literacy is not everywhere a common standard in the core foundations. Mental health, and obviously physical health, and also social emotional foundations. And that is something which is very important these days, because we can't take care of that as we want to. Then comes the transformative competencies, and these are the competencies which enable you to create solutions to very complex and big problems, like the climate change problem, or like handling this COVID crisis, not as a student, obviously, but as a teacher or a policymaker in the ministry. You need these transformative competencies to find innovative solutions to very complex problems. You have to reconcile tensions and dilemmas. I mean, because one person is saying this, another person is saying that. I don't know how it is in your countries. In Germany these days, there's a huge discussion what should be allowed and what not. So this is a real challenge. And this is a skill to be able to reconcile tensions and dilemmas and taking over responsibility and say, okay, I'm going to solve this problem and I'm in charge. And this, to be able to hold this compass and navigate through an uncertain world, that is the aim of the OECD Learning Compass. By developing all these knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values, you develop your student agency. This is the capability to set a goal, reflect, how am I going to achieve that, and responsibly affect change. And it's the ability and the will to positively shape my life, my learning, and also the world around me. And I like the concept of student agency and co-agency, because the student agency can only be developed in co-agency with your friends, your peers at school, with the teachers, with your parents, and the wider communities. So this is the Learning Compass. And Nick, if there are any questions in between, just let me know. Otherwise, I just go on. But if there are questions coming up, I'm happy to answer them. But maybe I'm answering them along the way anyways. So this is the Learning Compass. And the good thing is, student agency, it was co-created also by students. So here's the group of students with whom we developed at OECD Project, the Learning Compass. They're coming from all around the world. And I would have been happy that here I asked Selina, she's here in the middle, she's from Denmark, and she participated a lot in this project. But she was not able to join today because she could have presented with me, which would have been wonderful, because it's a co-creation project of students and teachers, researchers, and so forth. What they said when we launched this Learning Compass in 2019 in Vancouver is that they want to make sure that education adapts to allow us, the students, to take real action, to solve real world problems, and even that's a hard word for me, unprecedented new problems. The thing is that not just learning about theoretically about climate change, it's all about taking action, solving real problems. And that's what the Citizen Science Project is for, which Geddy introduced, or what Martin talked about, the Baltic Sea Project. That's it, that there's real problems out there, and we are able to solve them together. And you, obviously, as students, and also together with your teachers. So that means to achieve this goal, to acquire these competencies, we have to redesign learning together. And this is Martin's not here anymore. That was shot in a meeting with the Unesco schools in this Climate Action School project. And here you see teachers together with students who talk about what they want to. That was the first planning action, actually. And since then, and I think some of you might be here today of the schools who participated there. Would be interesting to know. If anyone of you is here, please let us know and put it in the chat. And since then, we came a long way. How can we enable these competencies? We have to create learning sessions together with you that participation in class is a standard, so that students and teachers decide together about what kind of topics in projects they want to work on, and how, for instance, here the classroom in our school, how they want to decorate the class, stuff like that. We can't learn democracy if we don't participate, all of us, in and take over responsibility. This is our grades 11 till 13, and they even are involved, and also the younger ones, in school development processes. And that is what is democracy all about, is that we participate, that we raise our voice, and we take over responsibility. And we collaborate and innovate in projects, and that's what the Baltic Sea Project is all about. And also working interdisciplinary, and also working together with different grades. So here you see a project here at our school. It's 9th graders up to 12th graders. They're preparing a project that is a 1-week project on sustainable fashion, they created some new ideas. They were creative together, so to be able to be creative and solve problems. And here you see that's the Instagram account they created to market their how do you say this? When you share old swap new, they called it, when you share old clothing and you bring it, and then you get some other old ones from other words. You're just exchanging them. It's a cloth exchange fair somehow, and experience impact together. And this is actually it was incredible, because parents were involved, universities around our school were involved, the community, and many people brought their old clothes, and it was amazing. I think up to 1,000 clothes were exchanged at this wonderful day here in Berlin, and that's what it's all about. It's we have this how to deal with sustainably with fashion, and we created different solutions. This is just one solution of how we can go about sustainability in fashion. This was 2 years ago, but you can also do this online. So this is in February, we have 1-week projects where the 11, no, the 12 and the 13 graders, no, the 10th and the 13 graders work together interdisciplinary in projects. And this is just an example of artificial intelligence and discrimination. And it took place online and was very successful. It was a lot of fun. We collaborated here with Education Innovation Lab, and it was wonderful to see what can be done online. And by that, creating new solutions, becoming social entrepreneurs. Out of some of the ideas, really a small business and even larger business are created. Here's a school I visited in Canada when we launched the Learning Compass. And this guy here, he started with researching on electromobility, and it went bigger and bigger. And then he got funding and a team, and now he is at a university and developing a big electric car. So something like that can happen. It can grow and become, and it was his interest, but it went bigger and bigger. You can become citizen scientists. That's what I got from the website, Nick. That is Getty. And just doing small things. It can be big and can be very small, but all together, that's global citizenship, that everything comes together and that we all add to it with our interests. I love gardening, so I would definitely do something about gardening and biodiversity, Getty. I would be in it, and do things like that. You can collaborate internationally. This is here on the left-hand side. That's Miguel from from Mexico, and they had a lot of fun doing this collaboration work on the Learning Compass. But you can, and you do that already internationally in the Baltic Sea Project, obviously. You can do it in your municipality. This is an example. Our school in our project, we started supporting a mother. She is a graphic designer and in an external foundation, and they put together this book, which is around plastic garbage and what role do I play in this circle. It is going to be presented in 2 days, and I can provide the link for the German who are able to read in German, because it's you can have copies for free. That's an example. And you can start very small, directly at your home. On the left-hand side, you see it's all about collecting old clothes for homeless people. That's one of our service learning initiative here at our school from 9th graders. And you can take about the garbage problem. I don't know how it is in your cities. Berlin is, there's so many garbage out there because everyone is eating outside, taking away and having their lunches and their dinners in parks. And this is creating a garbage problem. Things like that, you can just start right here. So all this finding solutions to problems is and the capability to do that. That is all what is the Learning Compass is all around, to develop the student agency and the co-agency to enable people to solve problems and to make a good life for themselves, their communities, and the society. And students, teachers, and others working together is the basis for that, because ideas get better. You can really ask students if you want to develop learning environments. And Nick, I'm not wrong to say that it was wonderful to have students here in this workshop sessions with us. That was very creative, right? He's nodding.
Yes, yes, very much.
And it's no excuse that it's COVID times, because you can all do that virtually. That's here a whiteboard, a mural board we use for one of our projects in Baden-Württemberg, which is in southern Germany. Students co-creating with teachers a new learning room for collaboration and community projects. And it was wonderful to see how they used it and developed their ideas. And one of the really important prerequisites for good development of competencies and collaboration is having fun together. And Nick, you said so in the beginning, we had a lot of fun together, but we were we worked hard. There is so much ambition in our group, but still we have a lot of fun. There's a lot of trust and creating good relationships. And I see that also in your project, the Baltic Sea Projects. You get together and you develop the trust, and that makes you, that makes the good basis for collaboration and working together. Intergenerational, cross-country, interdisciplinary, doesn't matter. So, I'm already almost done. And here I would like to ask you, Nick, could you do that?
Yes, I just started it. So again, as always, it's kind of strange, we have to somehow talk together for 10 or 15 seconds, right? While the live stream is being
there's always
being sent.
I was running through quickly because we were a bit late back in time. I hope it was not too fast and run you through the slides. But on a scale from 1 to 10, how well can you develop your agency, your problem-solving skills, your creativity, your empathy, your capability to solve in real-world problems, solutions? How can you develop your agency currently?
So I'm also, just a second, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to, let me see here. So I'll stop your screen sharing. Then I'll go to mine. We'll see if I get this to work better this time.
Look at that. That's great. At least, I mean, look at that. 31% think they can, they can develop their agency for, say, well, a little. And we have to work at that, and we have to definitely work at the 4 to 13%ers where they say, "Oh, I can do it a little bit," and and that's what the Baltic Sea Project is all about, and also things like the initiatives like the Global Citizenship Education Innovation Lab to make it a standard in school to learn actively. And many of you have the opportunities, especially in Unesco schools. There's so many initiatives, but to not make it just outside of school in the afternoon, but also part of the life in school, and be able to introduce that more. And that would be lovely now, Nick, to come to the last question.
Yes, 1 second. So I think, let's see, I can.
Where I want to ask you, what do you need to better develop your agency? So what do you need to better develop your agency? Just write whatever word, whatever concept, whatever idea comes to your mind.
So let's see, what are we looking at right now? Are we still looking at the old one?
No, we are looking at the new one. Free time, money.
Okay. Yeah.
Independence, creativity, time, team of enthusiasts, very important. Support from active people. You're right. It's always good to get started. Free time, I got that. Money, time is big. Boldness, workspace, skills and relationship. And it's all about also free time, time and support, money, team of enthusiasts, creativity, confidence in myself, so important. And to get started, because by doing it, you develop your confidence. When you do something and you're successful, all of a sudden you feel, oh, I can do that. And as a student and as a teacher, what Nick just told us earlier, right? He was like, no, and all of a sudden, oh, it feels good. I can do it, right? And he's changed a lot of things, right, Nick?
Yeah, and interestingly enough, right? I guess I have the same amount of time. I think that's interesting to see this subject. You know, when I see a lot of these words, I like to ask people to ask yourself the why question, right? Why do you need time? Then, you know, the because with time I would do, and then we get closer to, you know, the actual why question. What's maybe really important, and
then come to the why. Why do you want to do it? Because as a teacher, I want to support my students to be able to have a real good life and to take over responsibility and to develop the attitudes and the values. I want to do that. And from a student's point of view, I can try out things. I can try in school where my interests lie. What is interesting? Why do I want to? I mean, to try all the different things out and to be able to do that in projects, and also to find out: am I a good organizer? Am I a visionary person? How am I a leader? And I can I gather people around me? Can I talk to the municipality? Stuff like that. How to finance a project? I've seen projects projects run by students who were totally independent after a while. It took a while, but then they financed their projects independently. And the teacher and the school didn't have to do anything. It was incredible. So things like that can happen. Support from active people, we had that. Confidence, courage is so important. Discipline, actually, good point, is important. You have to have this sense of achievement, but sometimes you have to dig into it, and sometimes it's not easy and it's hard. But then when you have this, you succeed, and then you have this feeling, oh, I can do that, I can do it. That's so wonderful. This sense of achievement, and that is something where you really change something. So. We are here at the end. I think I have a last slide, but I'm not sure if I shall show it or shouldn't I, because I can do, because you just showed us, be courageous and change the world. You need courage. And no matter where you are, how old you are, if you are in 5th grade, if you're in 12th grade, or if you're a teacher, coordinator, you have to sometimes get out of your comfort zone, do things differently, try it out, and you have to address sometimes to people around you and find people who work with you. And that is maybe the biggest challenge. Thank you.
Thank you, Kerstin. That was wonderful. There was, it's one of the points that I always wanted to make, kind of back and forth with, what is global citizenship education? And we've talked about it too. And it's, call it whatever you want. I realize there's so many people out there. They've been doing this for 30 or 40 years. And when I started getting involved, it's like this, these big eyes, and I'm like, wow, and this and that and everything. And you start talking about other teachers, and they've been doing that for 30, 35 years. It's just kind of, the history repeats itself. And there's always been this group of people focusing on transformative qualities of education, because they also realized 30 years ago, that's what we really need.
And UNESCO schools they're doing such a lot, but when it comes to with certain schools, you're sometimes also, as a UNESCO coordinator in school, you're quite on your own or with a smaller team, right? And the challenge is to widen that base and to involve more colleagues into the work, and to get them involved, and get every student involved in projects. And the goal is to really implement it into the curriculum, and this is an overall goal, obviously, that everyone has the chance to do that in school, and to get also as a teacher the support and the partners and the time and the freedom to develop. And we know that this is a challenge, very different in the different countries. And but this is a huge issue, because there are so many colleagues who want to change ways. So students, there are a lot of teachers who want to do things differently, but it's not always that easy. and so we need the courage ourselves as teachers, and we need you to remind us we have to change things, and all of us have to address that to the policymakers to support the work in schools.